Today on Empire State of Mind, we have Matt Muscat, and we're going to be talking about creating demand in any market.
We believe the purpose of owning a business is funding your perfect life. Welcome to the next generation of growth and opportunity in the inspection industry. This is the Empire State of Mind. Empire State of Mind. Helping build companies with faster growth, higher profits, and more time freedom. Finally, a podcast for the home inspection industry and beyond. This is the Empire State of Mind. And this is your host, Matt Williams.
Welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here today, listening in. Today we have a phenomenal guest with us. He is a marketing genius, I hear. My friend, Matt Muscat. Matt, how are you doing today, man?
Doing great. I'm in Michigan. It's not snowing yet. It's not exactly nice, but had a good workout and life's good today.
That is fantastic. I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and there's actually this weird wet stuff falling from the sky. I don't know what it's called, but because we live in the desert, so it's I think it's rain, and so
Ooh,
yeah, I know.
that's not common to you.
We get like 300 and something days of sunshine here, so just a little bit of rain and everybody freaks out. They're not sure what to do. So, but I can't imagine living in a place where there's that much snow as what you've got.
Yeah, it's not that bad right now. Beautiful summers, iffy falls, terrible winters.
Gotcha. Well, Matt, so I know enough about you to say that you are like a marketing genius when it comes to working in the real estate industry, and you work specifically from the mortgage angle of things. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's kind of a unique role. Like I don't know anyone that has my career. So I have been with Treadstone Mortgage. It's also called Neighborhood Loans in some areas of the country. I've been there for 12 years, and my whole role is to make realtors like us. I do some hiring of loan officers, but mainly I help our existing real estate partners get more business. And I then also help real estate partners that we don't work with yet to get more business. So hopefully they will like us because they're making more money and then use us. So it's been just a really, really fun ride.
That is interesting. So, because on the inspection side of things, or anybody else in the real estate market, if you are a realtor, then obviously this is going to be helpful. But even if you're not in a realtor, if you are connected to the real estate market, if you can find a way to help realtors make more money, they're going to like you. I can guarantee you.
Yeah. And I mean, I think this works in any industry, right? So like an inspection agency that, had a great marketer on their team, instead of just having your great marketer help you, sign up some of your best clients for one-on-one meetings with them and have your marketer give them free advice and ideas. Like I'm not building websites for these realtors. I'm not violating any, industry rules. We're just giving free advice away, and it makes people like us more. It's also like something like I'll be the one that talks if we host like a con ed or event in the community about marketing. Like I can do all that stuff. So if you're an inspector or if you're a realtor and you have someone on your team with a marketing skill or a sales skill, set them loose to help your clients, your friends, your business partners. And that's kind of what I've been able to do. And it's been a ton of fun.
That's really cool, man. So obviously you like it. You're very passionate about it. You've been doing it for 12 years. What are some of the big things that you've learned that are maybe misconceptions that other people, they just don't think about it the way you're thinking about it because you're having success in this?
Yeah. So, one of the big things I'm seeing right now is the market changes fairly often, but it's a really slow change, and it can be hard to spot like when that pivotal point is. And so I think a lot of people in the last 5 to 10 years, they were successful because they were lucky, they were cute, they were attractive, they were nice, like all of those things. Like if you had 2 of the 3 of them, you could do a great job in sales.
Yeah. Well,
industry, right?
I mean, I totally relied on my cuteness to win.
That's what I've heard. That's why, that's what attracted me to you.
Yeah. That's why this is an audio only podcast. Yeah.
You think like right now, the market we're in is just a little bit more challenging.
It is.
It's not impossible though. And what I'm noticing right now is the salespeople who have specific marketing and sales related activities in their calendar where they can really track their activity. They're the ones still finding success. Like there's still 1,000 homes selling in every market every month. But what we're seeing is that like, the top 4% of real estate professionals are selling 60% of the homes.
Yes.
So that means there's, the bottom 95% of realtors and people selling very little. The difference I'm seeing is that the people at the top are creating their own demand. What What I
Whoa.
think
Okay.
most sales professionals do is wrong. Most sales professionals will call up their sphere of influence. Let's say like a good sales professional actually has a list of their clients, like a list of contacts. Anyone with a phone and a list can make calls. But most people make a call that's like, "Hey Matt, it's Matt calling. I'm with the real estate agency. Just wanted to remind you that I'm still in real estate. If you'd ever like to buy or sell something and help me earn a commission, that would be awesome. Just swell." That's what most calls are like in our industry. And it sucks. Like
Huh.
that's not a good call.
I've had those.
If
Yeah.
you're, yeah, like if you're in the top, 1 to 4% of real estate agents, that's not your pitch. Your pitch is, "Hey, Matt, I just wanted to call you. I know you live at 235, Apple Street. Your neighbor 5 houses down just listed their house for 585. I know we bought yours for 285 a couple years ago. I can't believe you're 300 up in value. Did you know that? Like, what's going on? Anything special in your neighborhood right now?" And then we go into a conversation. Number one, I'm keeping you in. Number one, I'm reaching out. Number
Yep.
two, I'm keeping you informed. Number three, I'm giving you good news. Number four, like, I'm now the gatekeeper of information in your neighborhood. I'm an expert. But also, like,
Mm-hmm.
now when you go to work and when you're in the neighborhood talking to your friends, your family, your neighbors about the market, you're more educated. And when people are like, "Matt, how do you know that information?" "Oh, my realtor calls me once a month with any updates." That's marketing. You're
Yep.
being a little bit more suggestive. And then there's step two. Step two is I go on social media once a day and I look at what all my friends and family members are doing. "Oh, Matt, looks like you just got a new job. It's at XYZ company." Dude, super random. My coworker just listed a house like 2 blocks from that company. It's like the sickest house I've ever seen. Dude, I know you're not looking for a house, so I'm going to send it over to you. Suggestive. Like,
Right.
I know
Right.
that there's a good chance that if you just got a new job, you're going to be looking for a house in the next year or two. And I know that there is, in fact, a cool house that just listed. Now, I can sex up any house that I want to. I'm just going
Mm-hmm.
to choose the one listed closest to your company and then tell you what's cool about it. It's just one more thing. Or it could be, "Hey man, just saw on social media that you had your last kid. That's awesome. Congratulations. Uh, Really interesting opportunity. We now have this mortgage option where you can buy a home under your kids' names and it could be an investment property for them for the future." Like, I just have to figure out what that pitch is based
Yeah.
on the life event that you're going through. But social media is out there with all this free information. A good real estate agent or salesperson, an inspector could do the same thing, can take that information and figure out what is the pitch, what is my opportunity here. And so that's where I really think the opportunity is for most normal salespeople, is to go out there and come up with those unique opportunities so that you're not just selling like, "Oh, hey, I'm an inspector," or, "Oh, hey, I'm a realtor." Be
Yeah.
different.
Right. Because yeah, if I'm just showing up like, "Hey, I like to inspect houses. You got any houses for me to inspect?" Like, yeah, sure. You're in line with every other inspector that calls me. And you're right. So on an inspector, help me process this. From an inspector angle, if they're going to do that type of approach towards a realtor, because let's be honest, a big bulk of what our business does is we get it from referrals from realtors. And so if an inspector is doing the same thing, what would his angle be?
So, I mean, in essence, it's the same thing. So, an inspector could themselves, or they could have their admin do this. Pull up a list of have all of your realtors in a list in Excel or in your CRM system with a link to their Facebook or Instagram in somewhere in the CRM. You go through every day and you click on 10 people a day. You look at what they've posted recently and you find a reason to reach out to them other than just, "Hey, like, do you have any inspections for me?" At a certain point in that phone call, you start asking them more and more questions. You find out they have a listing coming up. You find out they just got a deal under contract. And then you can ask for the sale in a very natural way. But you're calling with something either important or super interesting to that person. And then you're using questions and their own responses to help you figure out what your pitch is.
Got it. That's pretty cool. So
And it could just be like they post about some new restaurant, like, "Hey, dude, like, I would love to check it out. Would you want to go back if it was that good?" And that you're getting a meeting that way. And then obviously we know the more face to faces you get, the more business you're going to get.
that's so true. Yeah, I one of the biggest realtors that we got in the beginning of our company going was he had a picture of a drone that he had bought, and he was like flying it around, and so I just DM'd him on Instagram about his drone, and had nothing to do with inspections or real estate or anything, but I DM'd him from my business account. "Hey, this is Matt. I'm the owner of the company, and I'm looking at, you have this drone. Hey, how does this work? What do you like? Can I come pick your brain about drones? We're thinking about adding drones into our inspection process." And so, Yeah, sure. So I went down to his office, met with him. He had his drone there. We talked about it. I got the flyer on the parking lot. Like, we had a great time talking about drones, and then how do we use this and what licensing's required and all that kind of stuff, and I knew a bunch of the information already, but he certainly helped me, like, show me some things about drones. Well, then pretty soon he's like, well, I got an inspection coming up. You're a pretty cool guy, like it kind of connected that way. So I used that method actually, kind of in a way, like just seeing something else that wasn't necessarily hire me to inspect your house, to kind of build relationships.
Like, how much more fun is it if you can integrate your passions and things you're interested in with getting more business? Like, I like to play pickleball and I like to drink wine. So therefore, if I do a couple posts about wine every now and then, and I happen to be friends with some of these realtors that I'm chasing, those that are also into wine will be attracted to that and will message me back, and we can start the conversation that way. Same thing with like anything that you're into, right? Like, I have a 70-year-old agent who's super into gardening, and I have a older loan officer who's into gardening. They talk about that, and then they happen to do deals together because they're always hanging out at the same type of like community events that are centered around their passions.
Well, and people want to do business with people that they like, right? And it's, and they want, obviously you got to do a good job, right? But honestly, there's a lot of people that have high quality, right? A lot of people. How do you stand out? And that you build friendships and relationships with people, and that connection matters, man. That's really good. And so using social media, chasing it down, I like that.
Yeah, I think most sales professionals use social media too much to shout, and they put so much emphasis on like, what can I post, or like, what can my admin post? And it's like, it's useless. Like, no one cares about like your holiday posts about like a picture of a generic American family with your happy Labor Day post. Like, I want to see something unique and interesting that shows me your opinion on something. If it looks like it's from a business and it's not like something that you were the only one on earth that created it, like, it's kind of a useless post. Stop having, your interns and your admins in other countries and virtual assistants waste their time with social media that's pointless. Like, it either needs to be local, funny, real, your opinion, something like that. I also joke, and this is like, people don't always take this the right way, but it's okay to be lightly controversial on social. What I mean by controversial light is like, maybe don't do politics, right? Like, maybe don't talk about guns, religion, presidential election, but you can be controversial on non-offensive topics. Like, Matt, I will tell you there is a right answer to this question, but what's better, crunchy or smooth peanut butter?
Smooth.
You're wrong. I mean, like, everyone out there listening knows you're wrong. Everyone knows crunchy's the best. But like, that's a topic that like it's freaking divisive. Like, we're both cool guys, and I think we have a lot in common. But like, you're clearly wrong about that topic. And if you post something on social that's lightly controversial like that, you'll get a ton of engagement.
Well, especially with like those polls, people can vote crunchy or smooth. Yeah. And they're like getting it. Yeah, absolutely.
But like, just talk about it. Like, anything that's even remotely like best, like, what is the best burger in town? Like, people start like providing their opinion, and it lets you then message every person. I'll give an easy one for any inspectors listening right now. Go on social media on Facebook or Instagram, maybe even LinkedIn, and just post, who's the best realtor you know in XYZ city? And like, all of your friends will like comment realtors. And then any realtor that gets mentioned, like, tell them to tag them below. Any realtor that gets mentioned that you don't already work with, just message your friend and be like, dude, could you connect me with him via phone or email? That's it.
Is
like,
brilliant.
I've done this like 4 times, and I've always picked up a new meeting off of it. But you could do that with anything. Like, if you're a realtor, come up with like, hey, like, who is the best divorce attorney you know? Now, obviously, people might think you're getting divorced, which could kind of be awkward. But like, post that, get a list of 5 divorce attorneys, set up meetings with all of them. Like, who has business right now? Divorce attorneys, their clients have to move. Like, figure out who those job titles are that you need to prospect, and just ask Facebook. People love connecting you to friends.
That is so true. Who's the best, whatever that you know. That's a great one. Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna do that today.
Do it today. I promise you'll get something out of it.
Yeah, that is
maybe like do it. If you do it today, I will say, like, do it maybe like once today on Facebook. Do it the next day on another social site. Some version of that.
Got it. Okay, so don't do it all on the same day on all platforms.
No, because you kind of like, other realtors might kind of see what you're doing, know what you're doing, but I think most consumers will think you really just want a realtor. And it doesn't really matter why you need them. You're doing it for meetings, to help them, to offer value, to get value back. but to a consumer, like they're also technically helping that realtor by connecting them with the best inspector out there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So if, I've heard that you're talking about like you from the mortgage perspective are helping realtors get more business. From the inspector side, if we had a way to help realtors get more business, that creates a much more symbiotic relationship, because right now we kind of rely on realtors to send us business, but how do we help realtors get more business? Like if we could complete that circle, I think a lot of inspectors don't think in terms of how do we help them get more business. What are some ideas that we could do, like as inspectors, to help realtors get more business?
Well, number one is like really, one thing we've been doing for the last decade is posting lots and lots of realtor and housing market positive content online, and then talking about the fact that we're doing this when we're meeting with them. And what I mean by that is, if we can generate more home buyer and home seller activity in our market by pushing our positive influence out there to the people we know, that then creates more opportunities for those real estate agents also.
Okay.
The other piece would be, through your website, if you're an inspector, and especially the larger your company is, you can have you can have great SEO on your website that centers around like moving to XYZ city, moving to Albuquerque. And when you get leads, you can share those with your realtors. Like you don't need to buy leads with them off like Zillow or anything like that, but you can generate your own leads and then give them to your lenders, give them to your realtors as a way. It's like, hey, I gave you 3 leads last year. I need 10 back. There's different ways to do that. I think internet marketing can be an awesome option, especially if you're a really well-established inspection company that has some great revenue coming in. You might have a lot more money to invest in that type of marketing than the realtor. Other things I've seen realtors pair with inspectors to do like really great educational YouTube videos for their clients and home buyers.
Yeah.
That can be an awesome way to add value. Like if you have a video camera or an iPhone or an extra person even, call your realtors and say like, hey, a lot of homeowners, especially after they move in, have home repair questions. Happy to do some videos about like how to change your furnace filter, or how to winterize your pipes if you're up north. Like there's so many different things that inspectors have knowledge in that clients don't, that you can in essence help the realtor get that knowledge and get it to their people. That could be another really good one.
Oh, that's a great idea. I like that too. Yeah. So how'd you get into this? You've been doing this for 12 years. How'd you get started?
Yeah. So I, because of the recession, obviously, just so
2008 one?
Yeah, 2008. So I was in college and grad school during the recession. And when I graduated undergrad from a great school, there were like 2 out of 200 people in my graduating class for my bachelor's degree who had a job lined up after college. So that was kind of scary. Wow. So I went immediately into grad school because I had nothing else to do, and studied internet marketing, right? As it was kind of coming out as like a academic discipline. And literally halfway through grad school, started applying for jobs because I needed money to pay for grad school. And the only company hiring was a mortgage company. And it was like literally no money, like very, very little money. And my mom was like, why would you go work for a mortgage company? That industry just catapulted the world economy into the toilet. And I'm like, oh, well, I have no other option, so I'm going to do it. And my second day there, they said, hey, we're going to put you on a stage in front of 10 realtors. Can you teach them how to do marketing? And I'm like 22 at this point. I've never bought a house. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I just start talking about Facebook, and I start talking about social media marketing and website marketing and search engine optimization. And a couple of those realtors sent us business because they liked us, or maybe I was cuter when I was 22. I don't know.
Right? Yeah.
I wore baggier clothes, so maybe not. And from there, it was like, hey, let's work on our website. Let's generate leads. Like, let's hire more loan officers that are the same vibe as us. And now 12 years later, we're a much bigger company doing 600 to 800 million a year in loan volume, depending on the year.
Wow.
And it's been a lot of fun. Like, we're a huge presence in our community, and I've never looked back. Plus, there's always like a great happy hour in the real estate industry. So that.
Oh my gosh, every day. If you want to go happy hour, there's one every day.
Yeah, I try to only do like 2 a week at this point, but we're doing more sports ones. So like tomorrow I have a real estate pickleball tournament. So like I'm pumped about that because like I don't have to drink and I get to be healthy. So it's like cancels out one of the happy hours.
Right. Yeah, I think that's how that works. It's math. That's science right there. With +1 happy hour, but then the pickleball is a -1 happy hour.
Yeah.
Right.
Makes it fun.
Yeah. So then, then at the end of the week, you're like, all right, I'm still doing good. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I think it's funny. Like the real estate market. Yeah. They are all about having little parties, man. They are very social. Most
Well,
realtors
I
are
think
very
some of it
social.
too is when you're, when you're a real estate agent, part of your job is networking with other real estate agents, and
Yep.
so many people in our industry have a pie is small mentality. Like inspectors don't want to be friends with other inspectors because they're, oh, well, they're my competition, or realtors don't want to be friends with other realtors. But really, like for a realtor, they have to be friends and well liked by all of their competitors because there's two agents on every deal, and one of them has to accept your offer.
Yep.
And when the market's hot and all the offers are about the same, they're accepting yours because they like you more oftentimes, or
Well,
they know you're a communicator.
yeah, they know
And
the deal's going to go smoother with you than with other people. Like, and they're like, well, okay, so it's the same amount of money on the table for everybody.
absolutely.
This deal's gonna go much easier because we have enough rapport built that like we can make it happen much. Yeah. Whereas somebody else is more combative, or somebody else is a little bit more just like there's different types of personalities out there. But if the money's the same, it's like, well, we know, yeah, you're right. You need that networking, you need that relationship.
Yeah, and I think even for inspectors, like to at least have a relationship on a positive level with the other inspectors in your industry, like
Yep.
no one in your area, no one else is doing this. And when you do this, there's so many opportunities. There could be hiring opportunities.
Uh-huh.
There could be sharing of best tactics. I mean, we have inspectors in our market who share. They literally share clients back and forth. They're like, hey, like just had kind of a weird experience with this realtor. They're probably going to be looking for a new inspector. Does anyone
Yep.
want to go after him? Like, there's some really interesting things you can do trading relationships back
Yeah.
and forth.
It totally
Or
happens. Yeah.
when you're gonna be on vacation, like, hey, you want to cover for me? Like, there's a lot of options there. So I just don't think people should be afraid of their competitors.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm friends with all my competitors in town. Everyone that is open to going out and hanging out and being friends. And so we just had one of those situations where they hired a different inspection company in town, and they're bad mouthing that company to us. I called up and like, well, these guys, they screwed up this whole deal and on and on. And I was like, okay, so they wanted to hire. They're like, we're gonna hire you guys to come and just re-inspect the house, and which is also really a messy situation. But so we're like, oh yeah, no problem. Like we can get that done. So we get it on the calendar, hang up. Next phone call, it's to the inspector they were bad mouthing. And I'm like, hey man, this guy called. What do you think? What's going on here? Like they called us, and because we have enough rapport, it's not like a stress-filled phone call.
Right.
Right. The phone call is like, oh yeah, that there's this weird situation. The buyer's really sensitive about these subjects, and I didn't know that, and I kind of stepped on these landmines verbally, and I kind of blew it on this one, and it's like, oh, okay. So if we're going out there, how would you, recommend we approach the situation? So they gave us a
Yeah.
lot of great advice. We went out there and knocked it out of the park for him, and then later on, and we were able to say, oh no, that's, we just said nothing but good things about the other inspection company. And at the end of it all, it's like, we're helping clients, people are getting helped better, but, by having a relationship with these other inspection companies in town, it works, it helps.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, my number one competitor in town, I'm the biggest one in New Mexico, actually. But my number two in New Mexico, I actually flew the owner out to the last IEB event because I was like, hey, you need to be part of this group. And she's like, I'm not sure, like our marketing or whatever budget's kind of like tight because of X, Y, and Z, and we're doing these other things. And I was like, well, what if I paid for it? She was like, well, if you're going to pay for it, I'll go. I was like, all right, let's go. So I actually paid for her to go out to this IEB thing, and I'm investing in her and investing in her growth and in her, abilities, so hopefully it helps her business run better and smoother and gets bigger. But by doing that,
Nothing negative can happen when you
nothing.
do the right thing.
Yeah, nothing negative can happen, right? So like I just was like, hey, here you go. And when we got there, we hung out for a little bit, but she actually made her own friends, her own relationships, and she was able to build some great relationships, get some good contacts together, and make some good networking in the industry. And at the end, it's like, I feel good. I helped her out, and then we also built our relationship to where now we know that I'm not like, we're not at each other, like there's enough business for everybody. It's that mentality shift. If
I love
it's
that.
like, yeah. And we talk about that in IEB a lot, is having the right mentality of understand there's enough work for everybody out there, and we're all on the same team. And so let's work together to make the industry elevated. Let's elevate the industry together. And if we're doing that together, then everybody wins. Everybody.
And there's like a company in your industry, in every market, that's that company that's elevating the industry.
Yep.
Right. There will be the mortgage company in your market, the inspection agency in your
Yep.
market, the title company in your market. be that person, right? Like, and it's never the person doing the most business, right? Like in our area, there's a credit union who, just because they have like 4% interest on their checking accounts, like they get more mortgage business than we do. But we're number 2 with a 30th of the amount of employees. We have no, we're not invested in publicly or anything. So we can do some really fun stuff. And we've been doing the right things for 10 years. Be that inspection agency or real estate agency in your market. There's usually only one per market.
That's awesome. And now you become a leader in your market, and you don't have to be the biggest to do it. You really don't.
It's a better place to be. Less of a target on your back, less regulations, but it's fun. Like you can create your own, how you want to spend your time.
Yes, I love that. Yeah. I mean, I started doing that before I was the biggest, right? And so I was probably the 4th biggest one, and I started helping it raise and elevate, and it helps. And so you're doing the same thing. You're helping elevate the industry in your market. And I think that whether you're an HVAC technician or HVAC company or electrician or any trade you're in, any job that you have, any business you have, if you become the person that's helping elevate the industry around you, it'll help you ultimately too.
I love that.
Yeah, that's good. Well, Matt, this has been a really informative conversation. I really enjoyed it. I've got a few nuggets. I got something I'm taking away. So if nobody else gets anything, I got a lot out of this today. And I really appreciate you taking the time to be here.
No problem. It was a ton of fun. Thanks for hanging out with me today.
And if someone wants to get in touch with you, moving forward, what's the best way for someone to get connected with you?
So my number one thing, I absolutely love hearing from people who heard me on a podcast or an event and want to talk. Like I'm here to build connections. So hit me up on Instagram. It's at MattMuscat88. You can also check out Treadstone Mortgage on Instagram or Facebook to see kind of how we do things social media wise. You'll get some ideas on how to be that company to elevate the industry. But overall, reach out, send me a message with who you are, what you do, where you're from, and we will have a conversation.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks, Matt. Have a good one.
Yeah.
You've been listening to Empire State of Mind for the home inspection industry and beyond. Our passion is to elevate the home inspection industry with mindset, strategy, and tools. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. For more, follow on Instagram at IEB Coaching. And don't forget to hit the website at www.iebcoaching.com. Learn about IEB at no cost and have all your questions answered on our open call once a month on the 3rd week of the month. We hope to see you there, and we'll see you next time on the Empire State of Mind.